Crypto markets are looking great. I'm not going to even lie to you, but listen closely. Something massive is happening right now with XRP and the entire crypto market. We're talking billionaire moves, government shifts, and regulatory breakthroughs, all converging into one single explosive movement. This isn't just another crypto update. The acquisitions, they already begun. The power players, they are positioning. And XRP, the so-called sleeping giant, it might be the centerpiece of the next global liquidity revolution. Stick with me, because in the next few minutes, we are breaking down why Trump's shocking pardon of Binance's CZ is far bigger than politics, why Coinbase's CEO just confirmed the Bitcoin market structure bill is about to pass, and how Ripple could soon hold an EU-wide money license, putting XRP into a category no other crypto can touch. And yeah, we got data. We always got the data. We got the quotes and we got the receipts coming from Wall Street, CNBC, and global regulators. Without further ado, let's dive in, and we're starting right here. The man of the hour, President Trump and CZ Binance. He got the pardon. That's right. Shockwave to hit the market. He's going to pardon him. Now, look, this isn't just a political stunt, okay? This is a strategic signal. CZ built Binance into the largest crypto exchange on the planet. And his legal troubles, well, they symbolize Washington's war on crypto. By pardoning CZ, Trump just sent a very clear message. Crypto isn't the enemy. It's the future. And here's the wild part about all this. Insiders are already whispering that this move could pave the way for major exchange partnerships and new liquidity channels between the US institutions and offshore digital asset hubs. That's right. And if you think that's random, no chance. There's no shot, everyone. And guess what XRP thrives on? Institutional liquidity. Every single points to governments warming up to the digital asset frameworks. And you know what? Trump just opened the door, which puts us over here. Brian Armstrong went live on CNBC and he dropped this bomb. He stated that the Bitcoin and crypto market structure bill, it is about to pass. Listen.
Yeah, well, we had great meetings with the Democrats in the Senate and on the Republican side today. And the good news is that there's strong bipartisan support and will to get this market structure legislation done. Important for America, and then the 50 million Americans who've used crypto want to see it get done. And so one date we heard floated was, let's try to get markup done before Thanksgiving. I think there's 90% of the issues are already aligned on and agreed, and there's draft text going back and forth, a lot of great cross-functional collaboration happening. That last 10% are the remaining issues, and everyone committed to get in the room together and work it out, and hopefully we'll see some draft text or get it out of committee by Thanksgiving.
By Thanksgiving, folks, it's less than a month away. This is huge. 90% already worked out. This is monumental right here. This bill is what gives clarity to exchanges, to custodians, and stable coins. Everything that XRP and Ripple have been waiting for since the SEC's lawsuit. Here's the big picture. Once this bill passes, institutional liquidity, it can legally and confidently flood into the market. We're talking pension funds, hedge funds, sovereign wealth funds. They are all greenlit. I don't think you really understand how massive this is. And that is exactly what the massive acquisition begins. We're talking over-the-counter buys, private allocations, and strategic corporate position. And guess what's always on the list, everyone? XRP. This is no longer just a Bitcoin world. XRP is involved in every single talk. It is the only asset in the US with legal clarity. So when you got Brian Armstrong sitting there, standing there, talking on CNBC, telling you it's about to pass, he's really telling you the crypto floodgates are about to open. And don't forget, if you haven't joined the newsletter, join it. The link is down below. It's in every description. Everything I can't put on YouTube or talk about on YouTube, it's in this newsletter, and it's 100% free. Next newsletter, it's going out next week. You want to get on that list before it gets sent out there. You know what? If you get the newsletter, you don't like it, you don't like the content in it and all the news, just hit unsubscribe and you automatically gets pulled off of the email list. And then Raoul, Paul, look, I showed this to you before. I'm going to show it to you again because a lot of people are getting down on the bull run, on the bull market. Now's not the time to be down. With all the regulations we have coming through, with all the ETFs, they're talking about over 150 ETFs right now. You should be bullish. You should be bullish as you ever been. Because look, this bull cycle, bull run, crypto's going to make new highs. It's going to happen under Trump. The time There's no better time than now, especially with midterms coming up around the corner. Raoul Paul thinks it goes into Q2 of 2026, which, you know what? It could. This government shutdown completely threw a wrench in everything, and it delayed all these ETFs. The latest reports that are coming out are stating that XRP ETFs and the other ones that are filed, we might not get them into November, December. You know that really means Q1 of next year. Listen to what he has to say, because this is all data-backed macro analysis based on liquidity cycles, yield curve reversals, and the Fed's pivot that's now on the horizon.
Why is Bitcoin sort of not wildly off to the races yet? And it's this chart. Bitcoin is basically, this is a detrended Bitcoin, and it's basically the ISM, which is the business cycle. Remember, we've always said it's the business cycle stupid. It is always the business cycle stupid. And all of these people who claim it's the 4-year cycle based around this and that, they don't understand the fundamental of what the business cycle is, why there's a 4-year cycle in everything. And we've explained it, and we'll go through it in great detail tomorrow in our Everything Code presentation. But basically, it's following the ISM. And rates have been following the same pattern. You see, rates should have come lower. They need to come lower because we need to roll the debt.
They will come lower.
That's part of the Everything Code, fundamental part. And ISM, because rates are so high, has meant that Main Street has been screwed while Wall Street's made money from debasement. Earnings versus scarce assets. This is the issue that they need to solve, and they need to get rates lower. They get rates lower. Why? Why do we have an elongated business cycle that looks like virtually no other real other time? It's because, and I only just found this out redoing the work on the Everything Code recently, is that in 2021-22, they actually extended the maturity of the debt from 4 years to 5 years. So that extension of the maturity of debt has pushed out the business cycle a year. The 4-year cycle this time around is a 5-year cycle. We don't know what the next one will be until we see.
So the 4-year cycle is becoming a 5-year cycle, which would lead us into 2026, which would play into everything that's going on with the government shutdowns and all these ETFs. Look, if we're going to get a crap ton of ETFs, that is billions of dollars coming into the market. It's going to push the price higher. These institutions like your BlackRocks, Goldman, Fidelity, they are not going to sit here and start cheerleading for crypto just to watch the prices go down. They're going to cheerlead to raise the prices up so they look like they are the smartest people in the room, right? Historically, when liquidity expands, it leads to a crypto rally. And XRP, with its global utility narrative, it's perfectly positioned to ride this macro wave. Not only do we have about 20 ETFs that are coming to life, we have regulatory approval in the United States. We have Ripple applying for that bank license that would get them access into the Fed. Ripple has everything lined up. You got Evernorth, who's going to be acquiring a crap ton of XRP as well. So if we get short-term pullbacks right now, they're trying to shake that tree, and they are trying to get you out of the markets before they raise the prices, which leads us to this. The US DEA has seized over $54 million in crypto. Even the DEA is stacking right now. Not by choice, but they're stacking, right? You can see it on your screen. I'll blow it up for you. 27 million in Bitcoin, 16 million in ETH, almost 8 million in XRP, and 2.5 million in Solana. This is huge because it proves that crypto has become a core part of federal operations. It's traceable, it's transparent, it's enforceable. It is exactly what the regulators want. And here's the kicker. XRP is literally part of the federal asset portfolio. That's not speculation. You know what we call that around here? We call that validation. And here's a bombshell for you. This is one that got the insiders buzzing. Jack McDonald, he just hinted that Ripple is set to receive its EMI license. That is your electronic money institution. It's no joke. It's going to allow Ripple to issue digital cash, hold customer funds, and offer payment services across all of Europe, legally and under full regulation. Listen to part of this.
Would you like to add on?
Yeah, I would say two things. One, to your first question around what are the holdbacks or the factors holding back adoption, I think there's really three. One is comfort, which is going to come from education. And as we talked about earlier, stablecoins, by their very nature of being stable, and particularly when you look at certain stablecoins that are managed in a way, for example, how we manage ours, that we'll talk about in a moment, we're going to give great confidence to the largest institutions to use them. Second of all, regulatory clarity and tailwinds are going to encourage a lot of institutions to come out and adopt stablecoin usage. and then third, having the infrastructure in place to support that. I do think that there's a risk, and this has been suggested in part up here today, that maybe we try to put this new financial operating system on the legacy rails. And I'm concerned that that may actually hold back the potential, or we might try to do it in incremental steps and save money along the way and not actually be bold and innovative, because I do think that there's a better way. We can still work within the system. We're not trying to overthrow traditional financial systems, but I do think the opportunity with this new technology is pretty profound in terms of what we can do. Last thing I would say is that not all stable coins are the same, and we've issued the gold standard of stable coins, a dollar-backed stable coin. BNY Mellon is our custodian. All of our reserves are in high-quality liquid assets. We come out of New York State. We're a fiduciary. We hold our customer assets in bankruptcy remote accounts, et cetera, et cetera. And as the legislation continues to evolve in different jurisdictions, whether it's in the EU where we'll get an EMI license, whether it's a country like Japan where we're partnering with SBI, we're walking through the front door of every regulator, and we're doing it in a regulated way, in a very compliance-first way. And I don't think that we're going to have the same sort of challenges that others are going to do to embrace the opportunity and to entice the largest institutions who want to come and get into this segment of the business.
Look, this is exactly what we've been waiting for, right? The infrastructure is locking in, the rails are being built, and XRP, it's not a speculative token anymore. This isn't a meme coin casino. This is the engine of a regulated payment system, which brings us to this. XRP future options, they're live. And for traders, this is a big development. It's been 5 months since XRP futures launched, and you know what has happened? Demand has absolutely exploded. Now options on XRP futures, those are officially live. This is how Wall Street plays, everyone. Futures plus options equals institutional grade risk management. That is the gateway for hedge funds, for your market makers, and for corporate desks to go long on XRP with leverage and compliance. Let me translate this for you so everyone can understand what this actually means. The pros are entering the chat. They are entering the room. Then we get this, Mike Novogratz. He's a billionaire, if you didn't know. He went on CNBC and he flat out said, look, once the market structure bill passes, you know, the one that we showed you in the beginning, that's 90% done, Bitcoin's going to go higher. He said, expect a jolt to the upside. He's talking about the same legislation that Coinbase's head just mentioned and is sitting inside of those rooms and inside of those meetings and knows exactly what is going on. Listen.
The crypto story, our government continues to spend way more money than they should. And I think as long as the debasement of fiat currencies goes on, crypto is going to be seen and Bitcoin's going to be seen. But, you know, we're in a rangy, softer range right now. I don't see what changes that. There's a bill in DC that needs to get passed, hopefully in the next 6 weeks. If that does, I think that'll give crypto a real jolt to the upside. That, and as we get closer, you know, every day we wake up is one day closer to the Fed governor transition. And, you know, my base case is still we get a much more dovish, malleable Fed governor than we've had in the past.
Look, institutional frameworks unlock new inflows. And when Bitcoin pumps, XRP, historically, it follows with higher volatility and faster recoveries. This is how bull markets go parabolic. Legislation, liquidity, and leverage, it all hits at once. And then JP Morgan, they just predicted that the Fed will end QT this month. Let me break that down. QT ending means the Fed's going to stop pulling liquidity out of the system, which means more money flows back in. Every time liquidity expands, risk assets, especially crypto, it takes off. This is the quiet signal that Wall Street is watching right now. The same one that triggered the 2020 run-up. Remember that one? And XRP, well, it's sitting right at the intersection of liquidity plus regulation. And Matt put this out, the Financial Stability Board. They just released a new report outlining approved activities for digital asset markets. You know what they include in this? Running trading platforms, acting as broker dealers, custody and settlement, issuing or managing stable coins. Does that all sound familiar to you? Because that is exactly Ripple's playbook. Global regulators are aligning around a common framework that validates Ripple's business model. This is the institutionalized phase that we have been predicting for years. And then if just when you thought you couldn't handle any more bullish info, this is last, but it's definitely not least. Trust me, because Evernoff CEO Ashish Birla, he just told Reuters that their mission is to build institutional grade, transparent exposure to XRP and to grow XRP per share through yield and market strategies. You know what that means? is that institutions are buying exposure to XRP through structured financial products. That isn't hype. This is a shift. This is a shift in ownership power. Retail hype is out. Corporate accumulation, it is in, everyone. So let's zoom out. Trump pardoned CZ. Coinbase confirms the bill is coming. You're going to join the newsletter and stay bullish. Ripple's about to go full bank mode with an EMI license. JP Morgan, well, they're saying the Fed is done with tightening. And institutions from Evernorth to global funds are quietly positioning in XRP. The writing is on the wall and it is crystal clear. This isn't random news. This is the prelude to a liquidity injected super cycle. The acquisitions, they've started. The rails, they're being built. And XRP might just be the bridge asset of the next global financial era. If you're not ready for the next phase of this bull run, I don't know what you're doing. It's time to get ready. Smash that like button. Drop me a rocket comment down below. When do you think the government's going to reopen and we get those XRP ETFs approved? This is it, folks. The era of digital money, it has begun.